Was one of the camps you went to Cleveland?
I've seen Cleveland twice.
Okay. Fred, we were talking about Shedeur Sanders off the air. He has some interesting information. First of all, it's impossible to like this kid. I mean, he shows up at his first start with the guy with the boombox and the staff.
Well, let's talk about that. Is he was that serious? Is he being serious, or was he kind of poking fun at the whole thing?
I don't know. I mean, there's so much around him that is staged, and like there are cameras everywhere. And I brought up
I know the cameras are there for real,
So
but like his entrance into that game, it almost thinks that.
Was, I mean, like,
was he goofing on like the media, like because he had a guy with a staff, like a big stick, like a Lord of the Rings or whatever crap, like the Hobbit.
Yeah,
like he had a big, I guess the Hobbit, right? Like he had a big staff. Well, I guess it's the same thing.
Gandalf, big
yeah,
staff.
like a Gandalf staff.
Yes.
John would know.
Thank you.
Yeah, he played Dungeons and Dragons, but it almost seemed to me like he was kidding around. But I don't know because I don't want to be the guy making fun of him when he's actively trying to get people to make fun of him. Like the joke's on us.
There's maybe like an element of like trolling everybody with all of this, but with him. But I don't know. It's just I was telling you the story about Tony Grossi.
Tell the story. There's a video, Fred, of him arguing with a writer.
Do you know who Tony Grossi is, Fred?
No.
Okay, so Tony Grossi is...
I did see the video of him, but was he joking in that?
Well, hold on.
So So Tony Grossi, for those who don't know, has covered the Browns since like Marty Schottenheimer was the coach. So he's been around forever, and he's been critical of Shedeur. And there's a video that got out there on social media that has Tony Grossi and Shedeur Sanders going back and forth, which, by the way, like I really appreciate, as a reporter, I appreciate that. I would much rather have a player or a coach or an executive come up and get pissed with me and tell me they're not happy with me than not know and have them act weird to me for like a couple of years. You know what I mean? Like I just think that's a healthy thing when a reporter and a player, someone you cover, whatever, like have that sort of interaction.
So Shedeur
So my
approaches
first thought was when Shedeur did that, I was like, good. I'm like, that's like a good thing for a player to do. Like now Shedeur and Tony can get past that, and like that's the best way to solve a problem. And then I looked at when you're on Twitter and then, somebody else reposts a video and then you look at, there's like the little tag at the bottom and then you can kind of click through. And so then I click through, and then on the second video, there's a credit and it's at Well Off Media, which is Deion Jr. Oh, so this whole confrontation, which like seemed like came off as being very organic, like he actually made sure that the camera was there capturing the whole thing, which cheapened, ruined the whole thing.
But you have to give me a little credit for noticing that and asking the question if that was staged. I when you mentioned this just now, I said, was he being serious? I don't think he was being serious.
All of it's staged, I think.
Yeah, which is it's a very meta concept.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
This is the point I made on Tebow. This is the point I made on Kaepernick. This is the point I make on all of them. For better or worse.
You threw a white guy in there.
NFL teams, no, for better or worse.
So he's equal opportunity. This isn't about young black quarterbacks.
Good for you, Bert.
No, but for better or worse. But I think it applies with those guys.
No.
Why they don't? Why sometimes the opportunities for them stop coming is because for better or worse, coaches, teams want the backup quarterback to blend in them with the furniture. They don't want a backup quarterback who's a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want a backup quarterback who every time their starter fumbles a snap or throws an interception, the cameras are panning over to him. Like they don't want that. And so like when you ask, is that a bad thing? At that position, it can be. Because
well, just in general, most coaches don't want a player who's a reality star who's going to make drama for anything.
Well, no, but there's some level of it being worth it too, right? Like you have to be good enough to justify everything that comes along with you. If you're the best player on the team, go nuts. You can have as many camera crews as you want, right? The team's going to put up with it. If you're the 40th guy in the roster, there's going to be a lot less tolerance for it.
He's not even. That's the thing. Sanders is not even that. He's fourth on the depth chart, right?
Right.
All right. So what? So I know why Sanders is as popular as he is, and I'm not an idiot. I understand that. And look, he won the draft. I mean, that was fascinating. His fall through the draft. What I am interested in, though, is why is there this protection of him in the media? What is it about specifically him that makes people feel like they have to overly defend him? Because
Loyalty
the
to
concept of a black quarterback is not novel anymore. I mean, even 20 years ago, as crazy as it sounds, there would be some point to like that's comment. But now, I mean, I can't do a head count, but I would imagine half the quarterbacks in the NFL are black, half the starting quarterbacks in the NFL are black. So the number one pick in the draft was black, and he was no, button-up kid. I mean, from what you say, that his whole getting to Miami was a bit of a circus. So what is it about Shedeur that makes people protective of him?
So you're talking about the ex-players, right?
I'm just talking, which is a big chunk of the media, but it becomes like
here's what it is. When I used to walk into locker rooms with an NFL Network Mike Flagg, and my colleague was Deion Sanders, I would do interviews with players, and I cannot tell you how many times I would walk away from an interview, and they would say to me, "Tell Prime I said what's up." He is iconic in that community beyond what. And he was a great player.
Yeah, he's one of the best.
He's
top 5 players of all time, in my opinion.
Right, like probably maybe the best player
Top
who ever
10.
played. Maybe the best player who ever played his position. Right,
Probably he's the best cornerback.
but why he's an icon among players is because of how he elevated and changed kind of the celebrity of the player, how a player could carry himself. Like football's always been very militaristic and player 1 needs to look like player 53 and all that different stuff, right? And Deion was the one who sort of changed the dynamic for pro football players. And I think because of that and that huge impact he has, he's iconic in a way that goes beyond just how great he was on the field. And so I think he's held in that regard and has always been held in that regard by players.
Even with the rap career that was so bad. Objectively bad.
But like the opportunity, like in all seriousness though, and just the fact that he took a swing at doing that, I think they respect him for it. You know what I mean?
And he was also friends with MC Hammer, which does not. I mean, MC Hammer was pretty lame, and not even during the you can't touch this, the too legit to quit period.
Well, that was the thing. Yeah.
I mean, Jerry Glanville was in that as well, if you recall the too legit to quit video.
Yes.
That Atlanta Falcons
Jerry
team.
Glanville.
That's right.
Very big with MC Hammer. I mean, he was into some lame stuff. Let's be honest, but maybe that doesn't resonate as much as it does with me.
But I think that's where it is. Like there is I would just say I have had, because of some of the stuff that I've said, and this is not even opinion stuff. This is like reporting on why he's 4th in the depth chart. I've had text exchanges that have been pretty heated with some pretty prominent ex-players that are very defensive of Shedeur because of loyalty to Deion. You know? I think that there's a very strong loyalty to Deion.
You've made that clear. I just don't understand why they would get upset though. Like you could be loyal to Deion and not, which is a great analyst, by the way, someone who's blindly loyal to someone's dad. But if you can be in your own comments blindly loyal to someone, I just don't understand why they would have an issue with you. If you're reporting on the player, why they would how do they justify reaching out to you?
And this is the other place where it's become like Tebow and Kaepernick. It's like you're either on one side or you're not, or the other. Like it just feels like this is one of those topics where there's like a dividing line.
How do they couch it though if they don't just come out and say, I'm a friend of Deion Sanders? How do they couch like the criticism? Like, what is the reasoning?
You're wrong. There's no way. Like he was a much better player than that at Colorado. Like it's like one of the things that I've said that, I mean, this is a logical thing, but he was way behind when he showed up. And I said this before the draft. You guys remember this? Like teams when they sat down and met with Shedeur, and I said it on this show. And this is part of the problem. I can't find anybody who thinks he's a first-round pick. I didn't put him in my first-round mock, and I got slaughtered in certain corners for that.
But can I just ask you again, what was the justification? Because they can't say I'm friends with Deion, Was it like you have a beef with him because he's famous? Was it you have a beef with him because he's black?
No.
Was it
no,
because
no,
he's a high profile black athlete? Like, how did they couch it?
It is like, so my reporting on it says, like, from a football know-how standpoint, he is not where he needs to be to run a first-team offense in a practice. And the simple logic of it is that everybody looks at it like, well, why don't you give him a shot? Well, there are 10 other guys in that huddle who are looking to prepare to do their job and get ready for a season. And if you do not have a quarterback in that huddle with those other 10 guys who can function the offense at a high enough level, you are keeping those guys from doing their work to get ready for the season. And that's oftentimes why young quarterbacks who are behind cannot get first team. Like, you functionally can't put them in the huddle. So I said that, and for obvious, like, there are guys like, no, like, Shedor's way beyond. I'm like, look, like, I'm not. This isn't my opinion. This is something that's based on.
Thing.
Like,
I don't understand why they would get upset at you for passing on information that you have found out. That's the thing.
Right.
It's not like you made all this up.
And
this
why
isn't
would
your
they,
opinion that
I
came
mean,
out of thin air?
My thought is like, and I've always been friendly with Deion, but like, my thought is that maybe it's possible that, like, Deion has seen these narratives out there that are truths and has maybe fired back on it with some of these people. And
Okay.
you know, like, that's my thought. My thought on it is probably that, you know, oh, well, that's not fair to the kid that you're saying he's behind. It's not true. And it also, and like, to be fair, like, lots of kids come from college and are a little bit behind because the systems they're in aren't perfect translations to what you do in the NFL. So it is possible too that the people at Colorado take personal offense to the idea that Shedeur was a little bit behind coming into the pros for obvious reasons.
I think that's a definite. I don't think that's a possibility.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But if it's the truth, it's the truth. So
yeah, it just is. I don't understand really why. I mean, I understand Deion was very popular. I mean, I saw him walk into rooms, and, you know, there would be a press conference, and Deion would just walk up to the dais and just, you know, walk up to players like he wasn't. Nothing held him back, and the players were excited. I mean, he would go up with an NFL microphone, like, while a player was talking to the media, and just, like, walk past the media and, like, right up to the guy, and they were happy for him to do it. It just, there's this, like, it's been since before the draft, this, like, if you're not on the side of Shedeur Sanders, and what do I know about Shedeur Sanders? So this doesn't even involve me. I don't have a feeling either way. I'm just going by what people like you say, because you talk to the coaches. There's this idea that if you're doing something wrong, not football wrong, like morally wrong, like, you're on the wrong side of history, not football history, like, you know, social history. If you're not like Deion Sanders' kid, and it's like he's some, you know, like a Jackie Robinson person that is, you know, breaking through. I mean, the kid's had every advantage. His dad coached him in college. I mean, he's a silver spoon kid. I don't understand why this is the player that you're, you know, dying behind. I mean,
think about this. He never had to win a starting job in college.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I just said his dad coached him in college.
He never had to win the starting job. Like, he was at Jackson State as a freshman. You're the starter. He transfers with his dad to Colorado. He's a starter. Never had to win the starting job in college.
And the thing is that his other kid, Shiloh, that's, you know, wasn't drafted and making it, you find yourself rooting for him.
Well, and he's
like actually enormously
That's what
likable.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Every interview I've seen with him, he's like the fourth string defensive back in Tampa.
But then I bet you,
he's fantastic.
I bet you there would be a narrative like, you like him because he's not good, like, you like him because he's not strong and good, which I don't think is fair.
It's just amazing because, like, you look at the everything around him. It's just, it would serve him better as a pro football player if people would just let him be a 5th-round pick.
Sure.
If he could just develop.
Yes.
And he could just focus on football.
But he's his own worst enemy. I mean,
I don't think
if he wasn't the way he is,
no.
I think some of them
would
try to allow that to happen.
I don't think it has anything to do with the way he's behaving or anything to do with the way he is, because he never talked at Colorado. No, he wasn't like a big media presence. His dad was, but he certainly wasn't. If you go back in your mind and think of all the times you saw Shedeur Sanders talk before the draft, it's not a lot. Like, I don't recall him doing anything off the field. Like, this all seems to be perpetuated without his. First of all, him going into a locker room and that even being filmed by anyone other than him, and us knowing about it, has nothing to do with him. It has everything to do with his dad and everything surrounding him. I don't recall him ever saying anything overly interesting or overly controversial or even behaving in a way that's overly controversial. I'm sure I could dig through interviews.
There were stories about stuff.
Yeah, but nothing like nothing that like blew up. Like, everything around him just seems to be a manifestation of his father and, the position that he plays and the sport that he plays. All right. I mean, I'm sure he said dickish stuff and cocky stuff in college, but he certainly wasn't like Caleb Williams crying in the stands on his mom's lap and stuff.
No.
I mean, not that I saw.
I just remember after the combine, he was spoken to and he had a big smile, said, everything went fine, those kind of things.
Yeah, but how many
outrageous.
other kids did that? I mean, there's other kids that do that. It's just.
The funny thing is, like, a lot of people are like, "Well, how could this guy fall in the draft?" And like he was such a good player in college, and then those same people will say, "Well, like, I can't believe they took Dylan Gabriel in the third round." Dylan Gabriel is like the all-time leader in touchdown passes in college football history.
Right.
For the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.